Join us for the Iron Man Empowerment Podcast, where we discuss matters close to the heart. This and every Saturday at 8 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on HGG Radio. I am your host, Dr. Lincoln Bryan, alongside your co-host, Pastor Clive Atkinson, Bishop Hopeton Morris, and Elder Edmund Muir. The Iron Man Empowerment Podcast. We're not just talk, we're informative.
Welcome one more time to the Iron Man Empowerment Podcast. Today we will be diving into the depths of masculinity, relationships, and personal growth. My name is Elder Edmund Muir, sitting in for Dr. Lincoln Bryan. We're tackling a question that has puzzled many for centuries. What are the essential qualities and characteristics that men look for in a wife? Is it physical beauty, emotional intelligence, shared values, or something more? As we navigate the complexities of modern relationships, it's clear that men are craving more than just a partner. They're seeking a true companion, a best friend, a soulmate. But what does that really mean? Join us as we explore the answers to this question and more with real talk, raw honesty, and a healthy dose of humor. Whether you're single, married, or somewhere in between, this conversation is for anyone looking to level up their relationships and become the best version of themselves. Join us in this scintillating discussion on the Iron Man Empowerment Show. We're not just talk, we are informative. With me today, we have Pastor Clive Atkinson. We've been having a lot of rain for the past couple of days, and I am not liking it. But then we had heat before, and it was so hot. I want to welcome the guests who are on with us today. You're here, and we're giving God thanks that you're here with us. Truly, you can tell someone that we're on. Go ahead and spread the good news. Tell them that we're on with another discussion that will leave you feeling better. It's a time where the truth is unveiled. And so I want to say good morning to Jacqueline Brown. Jacqueline says, praise Jesus Christ. Dr. Links and the HGG family and listeners, pleasant Saturday morning. Yes, Dr. Links is on a mission. He's on a mission this morning. He is definitely going to a seminar working with young men. He has a presentation this morning. Mahalia Hemmings, it's good to have you on another Saturday morning on the Iron Man Empowerment Show. And of course, Boss Lady Sherry, blessings to everyone who is online. I had a very what shall I say, exciting week of work. There's a lot of things going on. Good morning to you, Sister Sonia. Sonia Bowen, good morning and blessings. You're not late. You're right on time. Don't worry about that. You're right on time here with us on the Iron Man Empowerment Show. Glory to God. Pastor Clive, how was your week? Talk to us.
Oh boy, my week.
Good morning. I'm not hearing from your end, Pastor Clive.
Yeah, good. I can't complain, brother. Can't complain.
Not hearing you, Pastor Clive. I don't know why.
Can't complain. Can you hear me?
Not hearing you, sir.
Are you hear me?
As soon as Pastor Clive's mic comes on, he will be back with us. And in case you're wondering what the topic really is about, it's very simple. What are men looking for in a wife? What most men are looking for in a wife. And I believe that the listeners, you can chime in and tell us what you think. Tell us from your experiences what you think most men are looking for in a wife. Pastor Clive is, let me check back with Pastor
Yes, sir.
Clive.
I'm here. I'm here.
I'm
Can
not
you hear
hearing
me?
Pastor Clive from my end. I'm not sure if the listeners are hearing you on the other end as well, Pastor Clive. I can see you smiling. I can see you smiling, but as far as it goes, I'm not hearing what's happening from your end. We have some technical issues that we will sort out in a bit. In the meantime, whilst we sort out those issues, I want to set the topic up for this morning's discussion. Again, tell someone that the Iron Man Empowerment Show is on an HGG radio live here in studio. We want to hear from you. We want you to chime in with your comments so that we can be edified as well. It's good to see everyone who is online. As I set up, I see Sister Jacqueline. Jacqueline Brown is on with us tonight. Of course, this morning. And of course, we have Sister Simone Edwards. And when I say tonight, it depends on where you are. If you're in the UK, you may be heading closer to the afternoon, going into the night. Or in Australia, you will be going in that area. We have Boss Lady Shire again. She's here. We can hear him fine. They are hearing you from your end, Pastor Clive, but I am not able to hear you from the studio. Dr. Links is sending greetings to everyone. To everyone here, he's sending greetings to everyone. God bless and keep you. So let me set this up before we go back to Pastor Clive. The listeners are hearing you, Pastor Clive, but I'm not hearing you from the studio. I'm not sure why I'm not hearing you, but the listeners, they are hearing you. Okay, so let us set the topic up in the meantime. Let us set it up. When it comes to finding a life partner, men's checklists often vary, but certain qualities and characteristics consistently rise to the top. Beyond physical attraction, men seek a deep emotional connection, shared values, and a sense of companionship. They want a partner who will support their goals, dreams, and aspirations, while also being their rock in times of need. But what else do men look for in a wife? Is it a nurturing spirit, a sense of humor, or a partner in adventure? Understanding what men want in a wife can help women better navigate the dating world and build stronger, more fulfilling relationships. As we explore this topic, it's essential to remember that every man is unique with his own set of desires, needs, and priorities. There is no one size fits all, and men's expectation can evolve over time. However, by examining common themes and threads, we can gain insight into what men generally look for in a wife. This knowledge can help men and women communicate more effectively, build stronger relationships, and ultimately find a more satisfying and lasting partnership. Let's dive into the conversation and explore what men are really looking for in a wife. Pastor Clive, I'm not sure if you can hear me. Good morning to you, Bishop Hope that Morris. Good morning to you. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. And you?
Amen. There is something going on from my end. Bishop Morris.
Yes, sir.
How have things been on your side, sir?
Giving God thanks for his goodness and his mercies and all that he has been doing. God has been good to me. Amen. And I just wanted to bless him. Today's a wonderful day, wonderful weather, sir. And I guess you're sending some of your weather over on this side that you have the other day. We're expecting to have very hot weather for the next 3 days, beginning Monday, Sunday, even Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they say. But nevertheless, God is good, and we weather the storm. And just want to greet all the listeners this morning. May the Lord bless all of you today, and looking forward for a wonderful discussion this morning. Over to you, sir.
Oh, God bless you. God bless you. I did not hear much from the studio. And Pastor Clive, how are you doing? The listeners were hearing you, but I wasn't.
Can
So
you
go
hear me
ahead.
now? Can you hear me now?
No, I'm not hearing you, but go ahead and speak.
All right, all right. Let's just take a quick break, and we'll just come right back, and let's just get this. Let's get it all set up. Listeners, just bear with us as we take this quick break.
Get ready for the revolution. A revolution is coming to the Hope of Glory Morning Show. Get ready for the pulsating, electrifying, inspiring, and motivating 2 hours of music, word, health, and wealth. Mondays to Fridays from 6 to 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Right here on HGG Radio. Join me, your host, Rashane Douglas, the Christ in me, the Hope of Glory. That's the new time for the Hope of Glory Morning Show. Mondays to Fridays from 6 to 8 a.m. right here on HGG Radio. Visit our website, hggradio.ca, or download the HGG Radio mobile app. See you soon. Do you want a revolution?
Thank you for sticking and staying. So, Pastor Clive, I did not hear what you were saying, but I would love to hear you
Can you hear me now, sir?
loud and clear. The listeners are hearing you. I hear all three of us.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Oh, yes.
All right. Look, I Russian of hire me, you know. This is Douglas of hire me for technical stuff around here now. I'm doing good. What a week! What a week! What a week! You know, my week has been. I don't want to. I don't want to use the terminology that it was a rough week or anything. This is the day that the Lord has made. You just take one day at a time, and you embrace what God is doing in the midst of your chaos, in the midst of all of your trials and your testing and your tribulation. Job would have said, do we not just expect good from God? There's other things going to happen, and you just have to bless the Lord at all times, and His praise will continually be in our mouth. So I give God thanks for my week. My week has been a blessed week. It's good to be above ground. Put it this way: good to be in the land of the living.
Amen, amen, amen. All right, thank you, Pastor Clive.
HGG Radio.
Thank you, Pastor Clive. I think we need to just jump into the topic because I know many persons are just waiting to chime in this morning. So I want to go to Bishop Morris this morning with the very first question on this topic. What are the top qualities or characteristics that men look for in a wife, and why?
Okay, thank you, sir, for that question. You said man, every man is different, and so what one person might looking for is something else what another person is looking for. But in general, most men, and we're talking about Christian men here, are basically looking for somebody who is spiritual, right? Somebody who is spiritual, meaning you can pray. Doesn't mean that you have to be a preacher or anything when I talk about spiritual, but somebody who is conscious enough, right, to hold it together in the house, because when children and so on come on the scene, it's another thing altogether, right? Right. So someone must be spiritual, and this is very, very important. I was thinking about it this morning. It's for somebody, right, who be able to accommodate you where God is taking you, right? So in other words, then you need to have a vision, right? What is your vision, right? Where are you going, right? So there must be somebody who who can accommodate you in the future, able to take you where you are going, right? A lot of people, after years and sometimes the man, get certain promotion and go into another place, into ministry and so on, and the wife is like, boy, I can't follow you there. I never married a pastor. I never married a elder. I never married a minister. I don't want to share and all these kind of stuff, because they cannot carry you. They can accommodate you where God is taking you. So that's a basic, that is an issue, right? I'm somebody who can take care of business in the house, right? Somebody who can cook. You must be able to can put a meal together.
But
Yeah.
Bishop, some people might argue that that's old fashioned. Old fashioned, like you must can cook. When these modern ladies want to hire someone to cook, to clean, to do everything, while they go out and they make the money because they're positioned right, well in society. And what do you say about that?
No, but there is nothing like eating from the hand of your wife. If I'm able to fry a egg, right, right, you must be able to can boil banana or do something, right? A wife must be able to can cook. It's not the same. Yes, it's good to have somebody come in and cook for you, but it's not the same when your wife prepares something for you. I remember growing up with my mother, and if somebody else cook, I can tell this is not my mother cook. It's not my wife mother cook this one, right? Because the taste is different, right? So the taste of the pot of your wife is different. So she must be able to cook. What if the person that you hire cannot come, right? Get sick, have an emergency or something, right? So you must be able to do something. I've seen quite a trend now, and maybe I'm a little bit biased because I'm from the old school, right? Where back in Jamaica, where I'm from, restaurant now open on Sundays, right? But I've seen a husband and wife today going to McDonald's on Sunday, right? And this is just not my thing, right? Yes. So for me, they must be able to can cook. Must be able to look attractive, right? And attractive to everybody is different, right? But must be able to can put yourself together, right? Know how to iron your clothes. All right. I know the new trend nowadays is to throw it in the dryer. Turn on the dryer a little bit and get out the wrinkle, right? But you must be able to get cook, especially certain men who don't like to seam at their pants. But I do my own ironing and so on, right? But those are some of the basic needs, right? You must love the house of the Lord. Right? Otherwise, brother, you're going to have trouble. If you're a church goer, you're going to have trouble. They're going to like, boy, why are you, pushing yourself to go to church every night? You don't need to be at every meeting. You're not the pastor and all these kind of stuff. Right? They must love the house of God. Right? So that's why it's important that you find them in God's house. Right? Right? Must love worship. And I'm on the spiritual side. Otherwise, going to be like David's wife. Every time you worship, you're going to be criticized. Right? I call Pastor Clive love to jump and all these kind of stuff. Right? Right? You don't want a wife who's going to criticize you and say, man, you're acting out of sort. Right? And so on. So those are some of the basic. And the last one though, must not be a spendthrift, man. Okay, right? Know how to be able to save some money. As soon as you have some money in the account, they don't right. You don't need somebody who's going to tell you, but boy, let's go shopping, right? And spend every single thing that you have, right? So they must they must understand the importance of of saving money, of planning for the future, of planning for the future day, and so on, right? Proverbs 31 talks about that virtuous woman. You must be able to can do something in the house. I have more, but as the discussion goes on, I will talk a little bit more about those stuff.
Thank you very much, Bishop Morris. And there you've heard it. Women must be domesticated. It doesn't matter what strata of society you're in. It doesn't matter what your job is, your career path. You should be able to do basic things for your husband because he will appreciate it. And I am happy that you mentioned earlier that every man is different, Bishop Morris. Yes, indeed. Every man's expectations, they will vary. And I want to say, also, you mentioned Proverbs 31. It is packed with knowledge of what a woman should be. And some people have misinterpreted it, but we know it is saying a whole lot there. A woman must be reliable. Ah, Pastor Clive, just moving on with what Bishop was saying here, because he said a lot. He said a whole lot. How do men's expectation of a partner change as they grow older or go through different life experiences? Because yes, we do change and situations change. So how does a man's expectation change of their partner changes during these times? Go ahead.
How does a man expectation, how his, say that,
Expectations from the partner. How
uh-huh,
let me repeat the entire statement question for you.
go ahead.
How do men's expectations of a partner change as they grow older or go through different life experiences?
Well, I only can speak for myself, where expectation is, and for my expectation, I just grow with my wife. So as life comes at me and make adjustment, I try for us to do the same. And like we talk about things. So the expectation, like for instance, if I can't really put my finger on something, but we talk a lot, and as we get older, and as I get older, we start to put more plan in place, and the expectation for myself, in place, and then we'll just talk about it. It's not fair for me to just throw a whole bunch of stuff at her and say, hey, this is my expectation when I came into the marriage, 10 years or 20 years or 30 years ago. And because I'm getting older, I'm saying, hey, this is now my expectation. I think it always should be a conversation, that we have a conversation about, as we're getting older, can we put these things in place? It's no longer I put in place, unless you marry somebody that is, like for instance, if you're a saver and you like to save money and save and looking for the future and so forth and so on, and try to put away things for the children, and the other person is not, then you were going to put in expectation and say, hey, we expectation. Let's sit down and then we plan it together, as the expectation. When we got married, there was a certain expectation on both our part that we put down. I said, hey, we want to do this and we want to achieve and we want to accomplish. There's some things that we want to accomplish, and I believe that as couples, we need to do things more together, or we do things together, especially for the benefit of us in the future. If we're not doing that, then then somebody have to take the bull by the horn and say, "Hey, this is what I have to do for me." If you're not really, but again, it becomes weird, becomes selfish. But you're married to somebody that both of you can sit down and have a conversation and say, "Let's do this. Let's look and see as things changing." We have to change with things. And as life throughout, for instance, like COVID, and COVID came, there's a lot of things that change, and whatever the plan was, in 2019 to go to 2020 or 2021, it changes as well. So as things changes, as you grow and as life progresses, sometimes things change, sometimes you change, sometimes, but it's important that we all, as a family, as a couple, do it together to make these changes, so that you're not doing changes and somebody is feeling as if, oh, you're in the relationship all by yourself.
Thank you very much.
I don't know if you can comment on that also.
Go ahead, Bishop.
Yeah, I'm very, very I like the way Pastor Clive put it. Also though, if you look at love language, the more you grow in a relationship, is the more your love language change, right? In other words, what used to interest you and what your partner used to do to show you love at the beginning of the relationship, when you begin to when you spend more time in the relationship, things change. For example, when you just get married, right? It was, can we talk? Yeah, okay, let's start, right?
Real.
Right? When you just get married, man, was all about the sex, morning, noon, and night, right? When you get older in the relationship, you recognize that, boy, when children begin to come on the scene and so on, right? It wasn't like, it's not like that anymore, right? But the way how you show love to your wife, maybe it's to help with the kids, right? Is to help with the kids, is to to change their diaper, and to help with the washing, to help put on the the pot on the fire, help to cook and so on. So we talked about earlier about, we know it's a man and what men are, the topic is what men are looking for in a wife. But maybe next week we can reverse it and maybe bring some ladies on, Dr. Links on, to find out what the ladies are looking for in us, right? To give us a wake-up call, right? And so things change as the years of marriage goes by, right? And men change also, right? So therefore, you must be able to can accommodate somebody, later on in their life. As I said in the beginning, it was a lot of sex. After a while, that's not exactly what a man is looking for only, right? A man need to be encouraged. We might be the strong one, but yes, a man need to be encouraged. You are his greatest supporter, right? You are the one who should be the one who's the cheerleader for him, right? He's not looking for somebody who's always going to find fault with him, right? Always arresting him, talking only about his failures, right? But he needed to be there to say, boy, you can make it, right? If nobody else is encouraging him, the man is looking for a wife who can encourage him, right, later on in life, right? I was reading something, and there was this lady who husband came home and lost his job. He's the only one working. They have a few children, and he felt like a failure. He felt down. He don't know how he's going to tell his wife this, and so he went home and sitting down around the dinner table, looking sad. The wife asked him, "What's wrong with you? What's going on?" And he said, "Babes, boy, I just lost my job." And he felt so bad. She didn't say anything for a while. Then she come back and said that, "I know the man that I married is not going to sit around and lick his wounds, but he know that he have a family to take care of, and he is going to get up and he's going to find a job and take care of his family, because this is the man that I married to." That's how you talk to a man, right? That's how you light a fire under him, right? And so therefore it's important that you're able to do that, especially later on in life. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Bishop Morris. Very, very well said. But I'm not going to allow you to get away just yet. I'm not, because you started a fire up in this place. You started a fire, and I got the cue, and I'm going to ask you some questions there. How important is sexual compatibility? Because you mentioned sex earlier. How important is sexual compatibility in a relationship for men? And what does that mean to us as men? Also, I want to ask you another question. I'm putting you there, Bishop. How do men's sexual desires and needs change throughout a relationship? And how can couples adapt? Go ahead.
You're stuck in them this way.
Turn it up.
You know, sex is in a marriage where a man is concerned is like second heaven, right? You know, it's very important that boy, yes, sir. Right.
Bishop, I wish somebody would tweet that. Second heaven. Sex in a marriage is like second heaven. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Men love sex. There's no doubt about that. You know, men seldomly refuse sex, and if you marry somebody and they don't want sex and all those stuff, maybe take them to the doctor and check if they have diabetes or something, right? Because you know, this is something that men love, right? And a lot of men interpret sex when you refuse them to mean that you don't love them, right? Because a lot of men, if I can speak on behalf of some men here, you know, when you constantly refuse, they feel like, you know, you don't want to be intimate with them, you no longer love them, and you know, as Ray McHugh says, it's a need for man, right? It's a need for man, for whom I maybe not be too much, right? So it's important that you do it, right? It's important that if you want to talk to your husband about something, right, and he wants sex, right, don't try to talk to him while he needs it. Give it to him, and then that will open him up when he's done. Okay, right? So it's important. It's vital. It's like tonic for a man, right? That's why a man seldom refuse, right? I'm not care how tired he is. He normally don't refuse that. Okay, right? And so it is. It is. I don't know if I mentioned second. If I don't know if there's another way to put it. It is very, very important, because one of the reasons why men love it, not because men have a seed in them, right? And you always wanted to plan. God make us that way, right? So it's not something like, boy, you know, why you wanted so much time? You just get it last night. Why you want it this evening again? Why you want it tomorrow again? What you can't wait? You can't. I mean, no. Because something is in him, and if you ever issue with that, you got to take it back to the maker, right? Because that is the way how he make us. We need to have it, right? And when you give it to him, he said that, boy, she loves me, man. She loves me. She loves me. She loves me. Right? So give it to him. Right? Yes, it do change after a while. I know for women, when menopause step in, sometimes when children step in, when they are very, very tired and so on. Right? You know, when men getting older, there are certain things that happen to their body. So sometimes they might not you know, want it as often as they used to when they were in their 20s and the 30s and so on, right? But it is still a necessity to a man. It is that thing that kind of brings the relationship together. So that's why sometimes you're having issues, right? And you know, and things come together. You know, there was a couple that weren't doing it. The wife wasn't letting it off, and the man miserable, and she keep on complaining why the man so miserable. And I had that tell her, I said, when last you give the man something, right? And when she give the man something, the man calm right down, right? And he said that's what he needs. Give it to him when he wants it, and your life will be better. Right. So yes, it changes after a while, as I said. Not you don't need it as often as possible, but it is still needed, right? And and it's important to try to match, right? And I know this is a little bit one-sided, so to speak. Or if you have wife on this side, then they would tell you what turned them on, and if a man is mean, and if a man doesn't treat them good, and all these kind of stuff, right? The right button have to be pressed, for them to do it, and so on, because they are emotional and so on. But since we're dealing with the men today, I don't know what Dr. Lincoln have for next week, but since we're dealing with the men today, right? And it's important also that you take off some of those granny 90, right? It's very, very important, right? And ask the Lord, right,
That's
for
why
the
you're a
secret
bishop.
of Victoria, right? Get the secret of Victoria and put them on, right? And so on, because when you do that, men eyes light up when they see certain things. Okay, right? So that's why, since we're talking, that's why I don't like wife go to bed. I tell my wife no pants, right? So I buy the pajama, okay, right? I don't want to go to bed with no pajama pants. Right? I don't know what it is. I buy them long. Right? Because it's too much work. Right? So therefore, put on something nice, put on something attractive, right? So that so that the man, when he look at you, he desire you, he wants you, and so on, right? So God bless you, sir. I stop there.
Can I just jump in
Right.
there?
Go ahead.
Pastor Clive, one moment. I know you want to come in, but I want the listeners to know that we'll be coming to their questions very soon. Keep on putting in your question. They're very interesting so far. But Pastor Clive, I saw that big broad smile on your face when it was mentioned and when Bishop was talking. I want to say that is why he's a bishop, because he's straight, real talk on the Iron Man Empowerment Show. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Let someone know that we're here for you. Pastor Clive, you want to chime in there? Go ahead.
There's two things I want to say. I work with some gentlemen, and one of the gentlemen, him and his wife was having problem, and he's newer, and he says that he was packing her bag to go. While he was packing her bag to go, and she said, "Okay, you want me to go? All right." She went and go shower and come back and start getting ready in front of him. He's like, "Where you think you're going?" so, I guess something happened when she started to get dressed. So it is important though, brothers and sisters, is that when all of that physical attraction and stuff like that, it's good to be able to have where during the daytime, as a man, whatever you want. Love making should not be soon as you get into the house, or get into the bed, at night. You know what I mean? Chemistry. Call your partner, tell them how much you love them. Bring home a rose. My wife is not a rosy person every so often, but make the conversation, see what they're doing while they're at work. Even if work is stressful, ask all your day. Do something to be able to stimulate that conversation, so it's not just because what we don't want to, and as a man, let me just speak, is for your wife to always feel like it's only that you want, and oftentimes, when you're in a man group, that's the conversation, that's all you want. You can have the conversation So, sweetheart, oh boy, I can't, talk to her. Let her know how you feel. And today is Friday, and we're going to go on our own special date. Kids are going to bed. What am I saying? I'm saying is that you have to keep that spice in it as a man. What do we want? What we want, it shouldn't just happen bam bam. It should happen where we are in conversation as a man during the day, during the week. We're living in a fast world where where everybody's busy and we're coming home late at night and going out early in the morning, and people are tired and just so the conversation could be happening during the day, both from both partners. But as a man, what do we want? We want to have that. We want to have that satisfaction, and satisfaction not necessarily be always sex either. Satisfaction is that a good conversation, and when you finish with that conversation, sometimes the conversation lead to other things. Yes, but I want to connect to somebody, not just physically, but for me, emotionally, mentally. We can the other stuff can come, and it come naturally. But when you talk about a physical connection, a mental connection, connected with somebody on that level, and so that that person can bring out the best in you. Start to talk about your dream and your aspiration, the things that you want to accomplish in life, so that they can help you. Wife is our helpmeet. Bible said that he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtain favor of the Lord. So when you find somebody, see how does that person, and I think Elder, you'd have asked Bishop earlier, right? How is that person can contribute to you and to your success in your life? So we as men, we need to don't be surface. Don't be surface. Let's go beyond surface, so that we not only get what you want, but pull out of a lady, and also help. By you doing that, you're helping her to help you. The more I put in is the more I can get out. Zero in, sometimes the lady shut down because zero in, then it's going to be zero back out. And it's not because she doesn't want it. It's that some ladies are stimulated differently. Some ladies are stimulated by you touching them. Some ladies are stimulated by that conversation. Some ladies are stimulated by you giving a rose. They have different love languages.
Real
So
talk. Real talk.
we have to know the type of person that you're married to, and to be able to, and let me just be real. If you have your wife, you have your spouse, and that she has never reached to cloud nine because because of 1, 2, 3, and you're done. 1, 2, 3, and you're done. Now there's no enjoyment for her. So what do
I
you
don't want to cut your pastor, but where the 2 or 3 are gathered, remember, he's in the midst of bless.
but no, like the 1, 2, 3, and they're done. Then for years she's gonna get frustrated, and she may not say it and don't want you to think there. So and Bishop, you'd have said it. Man has a lot that they can go, but how long can you go? Can you? Some ladies satisfied by penetration. Some ladies satisfied by just hugging and squeezing and stuff. We have to know what satisfy, so that you as a man, we're talking about the men today, that you can get how does she make you feel? But you have to put it in order for you to get it out, or to get out what you want. You can. I agree that the Bible says that your wife is your helpmate, but as a man, you have to learn how to be able to caress, and how to be able to love. And when your wife know that you love her genuinely, trust me, night is not a problem, day is not a problem. If your wife only like it in the dark, something is up. There's a big problem. In the broad day, brother, in the car if you want to. If it's only at night, something is wrong. That means you're not doing something right. Can I talk? Yeah,
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
yeah. If it's only when time you come home and if the light is off and everything is gone and then she gone to bed and you try to feel like you're a little rat in the dark. No. You have to. As a man, I'm helping somebody here. As a man, you have to, she in the kitchen and just walk up and just touch and hug and make she feel good. She need to feel good, and when she feel good, trust me, she's gonna make you feel good, and you don't have no issue. And you have to also. So marriage also is not a one-way thing, and maybe because I'm getting older, Bishop, I don't know. Marriage is not a one-way thing. Marriage is a two-way. How can I? What I'm doing it for you. Always think about the person. How can I help you? How can I be a better person for you? Can I do for you? And that's how I set up my relationship. I'm always trying to make sure that my wife is satisfied or pleased.
Okay, Pastor Clive,
Every
I
aspect.
I want to interject right there because you've been on career path. How can one help the other? So I want to ask this question whilst you're there. We want to continue on this line of conversation. How do men balance their personal growth and development with their desire for a partner? How can one balance their personal growth and their desire for a partner?
Okay, this is a man that's not married or a man that is married?
Well, we
you
can
have
speak on both sides. We can speak on the man that is married because that's what we're expecting, really.
and how can they develop their personal growth? Well, again, you explain to your wife the type of things that you're trying to accomplish. You say, sweetheart, I would love to do this, I would love to do that. Now, if your wife is not, I think that I've seen Sister Renee put it in the chat. If your wife is weak in certain area and she's not good at by telling you, oh, you know what, if you do this or if you try this or if you try that. Some people are just not naturally. So you have to go and seek out help somewhere. And when you get that understanding of how you can develop your own physical growth, especially in a business or doing other things out there, then you can come to her and say, sweetheart, I've learned this today. Take course, talk to people, and saying, you know what, I have a good business idea. I'm tired of working 9 to 5, and I always want to be have my own business, whatever that business is. While you're learning the business, while you're doing it, you go home and you talk to her, teach her, show her, let her know how your progression in finding out. And by doing that, you'll be surprised that ladies are very may not know nothing about it, but they have a sixth sense that man don't have. I tell you that right now. And they will give you ideas on top of what you already learned, and then now to be able to enhance you as a man, especially being married. Now, if you're not married and you're married and you want to marry to somebody and you have all of this drive and you have all your aspiration to be like this, and you're looking for somebody, look for somebody that's going to complement you. Look for somebody that's going to be able to help you. Not just at home, but also in your quest in life with what you want to be. Can this person help me to go to that next level? And I know that we as Christians always say, oh, the Lord, the Lord, the Lord. The Bible said that not the Lord that findeth a wife, he that findeth a wife, not the Lord that findeth a wife, you. So the Lord will lead you. And if that's somebody that you want, the Lord will allow you and the Lord will show you. And sometimes we see the red flags and we still go into it. And when we go into it, we find ourselves in a problem. So you have to just, as a man, know what you want, stick with what you want. And when you're married to the lady, don't makes you feel important more than anything else.
That's right. Let her feel important. And I do agree with you, Pastor Clive. I want to go to the listeners. I realize that, yes, I see some of the ladies they're chiming in, which is good. They were quiet. The ladies were quiet for a while. It tells me that they want to hear what we expect of them. Well, they're chiming in as well. We see the men chiming in. I want to go to the questions and the suggestions made. Pastor, remember that some persons have weaknesses.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
I saw that, Renee. Yes, and I think at the time we are talking about cooking and all of that stuff. You know, my wife, her parents is from Jamaica. She's not a Jamaican. She doesn't like cutting up meat and all them something. So where she's weak, I come in and I become strong. My freezer full up of meat, with really full, but have meat in it that I cut up and season up and have it ready, so that if she come home before me, she throw it in. All she have to do, open the seal thing and throw it in the thing. So whenever she comes up, you have to be strong. Don't go cuss her out and tell her, say, boy, you can't boil water. Last time she was doing something with the kids and she put on some water on the fire, and the pot on the fire, and the water was boiling, and my daughter said, Mommy, you're burning the water. And I laughed. But it was just an honest mistake. She forgot that she had on the water, right? But don't go because she can't boil water and all of something. Wherever there's a weakness, you have to become strong. You have to be the one that says, you know what? I see that there's a weakness right here, and I'm going to help you. So 80-90% of the time, as we get more and more, my wife is more, she does Canadian cooking or pasta, lasagna, and I love that. It have a time for herself, and the longer I'm in Canada, is the less I have. I want the dumpling and the banana once in a while. I'm not a dumpling guy like before. Back then, I used to eat a lot of dumpling, and before they even finish cooking, they just take out with some butter and put some butter on it. I'm like, what is that? I said, you don't know. This is gully food. and so wherever the weakness is, Auntie Renee, we have to remember, thank you for that. Wherever there is a weakness, we, the men, has to step in. And remember now, when the Bible talks about woman being the weaker vessel, it's not necessarily weaker in mental weakness or whatever, because you have some and or physical. You need to understand that the fact that she is a more softer or persona, everything. Because you have some woman will lift you up and fling you away. Same way. Them strong. You understand? Weaker as in not necessary strength, as in physical strength. Mentally is not it's not like that, So it is more of where the softer, treat her gentle, treat her like an egg, and be able to care for her, make she feel. But I know that a lot of men, oh Lord, I don't want to say this in a wrong way, get married and think that your wife is your mother. Your wife is not your mother. Your wife is your wife.
I want to cut you again, Pastor Clive, because I want to jump in right there. My mother had 4 boys before she got her girl, right? And all of us, we were domesticated. In other words, we learned to wash, cook, and clean. And of course, we saw where what she went through and the things that happened and the pain. Sometimes she cried, and when things were not right. So that has led us now, Bishop, to understand that we have a role to play as well. So not only should the woman be domesticated, the man should be domesticated as well. So we have it on both sides. So it therefore means that when the woman is sick, you don't expect that sick woman to get up and go cook you the best rice and peas and oxtail. You have to have space for the woman too, right? And I am truly thankful for the way I was grown. So some expectations, it's just not it. For me, there are some things that you don't have to do, but one main thing is support and respect, and that goes a very far way. Amongst everything else that we have discussed, if you're good in bed, good sexually, if you wash, cook, and clean, and everything seems to be all right, but you're disrespectful, that relationship will not work. You're looking for the man and you can't find the man. The man is not motivated. Sometimes the man even loses interest in sex. Talk about 1, 2, 3. All the man wants to do sometimes is probably just go to second heaven and come back, right, Bishop? Right, we're talking real. This is the Iron Man Empowerment Show on HGG Radio. This is real talk. We're not just talk. we are informative, and we want you too to chime in. That's why we're going through these comments from our wonderful listeners. So yes, so Ray McHugh, he said some of these ladies are in church, Bishop. I want you to take this one here. Are in church as an undercover agent. I believe this is a sharp statement, because as soon as they marry, they show their real colors. Men need discernment. What says thou, Bishop?
Just before I answer that question, though, I don't want to lose this train of thought. Is that when, as we go back to the original questions, that was asked, when God make woman, God didn't call her wife at the beginning. God said to Adam, I'm going to give you a helpmate that is suitable for you. Okay, right? So therefore, when a man looking for a wife, a man should find, I mean, not everybody is a wife, and that's so true, right? Some people are girlfriend, right? On all these kind of stuff. Some people just a woman, but a wife is precious. That's why the Bible says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, right? And so therefore, God give him somebody to help him. But man, when you don't know what you need, what you are called to do, she can help you, right? So you need to know what is it that God have called you to do. What's your ambition? What you want to become? Okay, that is vital and that is important, right? And to your question, yes, show the real colors, right? So men, you have to be very careful, right? I've been in church for a while now, deal with a lot of people, a lot of females and so on. And the truth of the matter is that, some of them are extremely attractive, but they are not yet ready for marriage. And if you pick that fruit before it's mature, and I'm talking about age only, you're going to have issues, because a lot of them have personal things that they need to deal with, personal hurt that they need to deal, that they have not recovered from, abuse, the way how they were grown up in the family, and so on, the way how they think about their self, think about relationship. Some of them have been in relationship before and was hurt and so on, and now that they got saved, they spiritualize everything and so on, and when you marry to them, they have not yet recovered from some of those past hurt, past relationship that they have been in, right? And so that is where a good premarital counselor can look at. If you really love this person and recognize that she's not ready, it's important then that goes through some kind of counseling together, right? So that she can be ready, right, and mature enough, right, so that she can help you, right, with what you are going through. And the truth and the fact is that some of them are really crazy, right? And that's just the truth, right? Make up his face, right. So I just not ready, right? They're not ready to be married, right? They still think that you are a girlfriend, or want to treat you like a girlfriend, and you're not a girlfriend, you're the husband, okay, right? They cannot communicate because they don't know what that looks like. Because communication in the family where they are coming from was quarrel, was what was seeing the mother raise the voice or the man raise the voice and all these kind of stuff, right? And so they think that that is communication, and they don't recognize how much that affect them until they're actually in a relationship, right? And so therefore it's important that they get the help that they need. And I will encourage every person who is single, want to get married, and you're dealing with some stuff, go get the therapy, go get the counseling, go get what you need, right? So that when you are actually somebody actually decide to marry you, you are now ready in your mentally, right? Especially mentally. Most of you, all of you are ready physically, but the mental part is the most important part, right? Because after a while, when the looks fall off and you begin to have children, and the stress of the entire family life attack you, and so on. If you're not mentally prepared, it will break you, right? So you gotta be mentally prepared. And yes, you need some discerning, right? Back then when I was growing up in church, I know you guys don't do it nowadays, we used to pray and ask the Lord, is this the one? We used to go to somebody that we can trust and talk to them and say, I'm thinking about marrying this person, right? Or talk to the pastor and so on, and say, and they will the pastor will direct you, the mother in the church or somebody who's a prayer warrior. So let me pray about it and see what the Lord have to say about it. I know that sounds real old-fashioned nowadays, but that is one of the best way to go. And sometimes the pastor knows that person more than you. So sometimes go to the pastor. I give you one example, and I can say this because this is many years ago. There was this anointed, powerful sister, preacher sister, loved the Lord, wanted to get married to this guy, right? And this guy was not that honest. Put it that way, right? Was not that honest at all. One guy put him up, and the guy, when he was sleeping, watch him going through his pants looking for his wallet to take out the money. Was not honest, wouldn't speak the truth. And the man used to sing on the choir when him say praise the Lord with a strong voice and everything, sounds so spiritual and so on. And when she go to the pastor, right, and the pastor tell her, don't marry this guy. This guy is not honest, he's not truthful, and so on. And she get upset with the pastor. Both of them leave the church, right? Find some other church and go and get married. It's after a baby or two later that she recognized what the pastor is saying was right. Right? The pastor came to me and felt really bad. And she said, boy, I have to tell her the truth because of the type of person that she was. Right? And so therefore, sometimes you don't want to listen to your pastor. Listen to them. Right? No good pastor is going to speak bad of one of their member. Right? And some of you, when you go to the party, you're going to go to the party, tell the party, I'm going to marry him, or I'm going to marry her. Right? And all the pastor got to do is to do the engagement. When you do it like that, I just do that. Don't ask me for no advice. So I won't give you any, right? Because you already come with the ring, you already come with the date, you already come everything planned. So there's no room for me to do anything, right? So, but if you need advice, come and say, what about this person? Right? I don't matter how powerful and so on that person is, I will pray with you for them. Because not every preacher and can speak in tongues good and run the aisle. Some of them are not married material. I'm talking about the brothers when are not married material. But you married a young man that is quiet in church, come and worship the Lord and go home. And that brother might be more from married material than some of those persons that you have. Because some of you want to marry the office and not necessarily the person. I leave it there.
Wow. Thank you very much, Bishop Morris, for that. We're staying on tangent. We don't want to go too far. But I want to continue with these messages before we move on, Bishop Morris. Yeah, I believe we answered this question. Some women are weak as it relates to finances. And, we have various weaknesses, not only finances, but there are weaknesses that may not have shown up before. And this is talking also about growth. How do you grow together. When you find these out, what do you do really? We have to make adjustments, and all relationships are different and different things at play. So we have to make adjustments as they come. It is never fit to tell a person, oh, this will definitely work in your relationship, because it it differs. Ray continues to say support is important in relationship. Bishop, go ahead. I'm going through, but go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say that the person who angle the money in the relationship should be the one who is more financial savvy, the one who can angle the money, who can save. Sometimes it doesn't have to be the man. If you give it to the man, he will spend too much. Give it to the wife, maybe she will spend so much. But the one who is fiscal responsible is the one who should handle it. Whichever one is
And
better
sometimes,
at it.
yes,
Right.
and sometimes too, you may be better, but you just don't want to do it. And then that poses a problem in the
You
long
will
run.
pay the price for that, literally. Right, if
Right.
you don't want to do it.
That's so true. And Ray continued, he's chiming in a whole lot. It's a need for men. When we're talking about sex, he says it's a need for men. And I'm going through, and you see, Brother Ray, you're in this with us, man. Brother Ray saying it's a stress reliever for men. It's exercise. It's a form of meditation. And Sister Jacqueline was laughing all the way through those
Yes,
statements.
sir.
And
It
of course,
burn a lot of those calories. That can be exercise.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. And of course, look at this one. Look at this one. Yeah, get rid of the granny 90s. My God, Bishop, you
But
hear?
even though you say get rid of the granny 90s, the granny is the one that always have 7 and 8 and all those multi kids. Maybe something is not some of those granny 90s. But the granny is the one without about what you wonder what she was doing. Anyway, we can go on.
You're in the Iron Man Empowerment Show here on HGG Radio. What most men are looking for in a wife, and we're answering the questions. For the wives out there, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat, and we will try our best to answer your question. And guess what? Know what your husband likes to see you in. Oh my God!
And that's nothing.
So. Some people might be wondering when they hear you talking to Bishop, is he a bishop? When they hear Pastor Clive, is he a pastor? Because the church has been running away from the truth and not discussing the things that are necessary. And that is why we have so many divorce. So if you want to know the truth, Bishop is located in Montreal. The name of his church is Ebenezer. And I guess that is hitherto as the Lord help us, Ebenezer.
Yes,
the Lord has helped you, Bishop. And so you can visit with him. He is true. He is raw with the truth. And that is what we need. I'm going through the amen, amen. Know your spouse's love language. We need to know our spouse love language for sure. If you don't, you'll end up in trouble. Look at this one now. Ray says women's stimulation sometimes change after childbirth, as well as men need to adjust to that as well. What do you say about that, Pastor Clive? Some men, I believe, lacks this understanding.
Again, man, you have to understand. Like my wife before she have children, after our two beautiful children, things are not the same, so you have to be sensitive. You have to be sensitive. You have to be very, very, very sensitive. Again, this is what we talk about the week of effort, the emotional side of a lady. After baby, she doesn't want nothing happening until she feel comfortable and feeling, there's a lot that just transpired, So I know that as soon as the cycles and stuff like that done, like, man, for me, I'm waiting for months. I'm good for a little bit because I was in the room for the children. It's not a nice sight. I was more full up of compassion. I says, man, God, you're good. look what you have done. Like a lady come, and there's a lot of respect you have to have for your wife when she go through that, the body go through that trauma. You have to give the body a little time to heal. Not just, I know you really want to go to second heaven, and so forth and so on. But when you love somebody, you will wait, and you will nourish, nourish, nourish them, and build them, and bring them back to life, and make sure that they're strong, and make sure that they're good. Husband must be that figure that the wife look at and desire more. And the more your wife desire you more, trust me, you will go to heaven every day.
That's
You
right, Pastor Clive. But how
will,
should a man help his wife who was once compatible, but over time has changed?
who has never been compatible, or who has been
No,
compatible?
was once compatible, but has changed over time.
If my wife changed, is two things. Is there something? Is it that I am not doing something good, or somebody else is stimulating her mind? Something else, somebody else. That's just the when you start to lose interest in somebody. Let me speak for myself. If I start to lose interest, something is wrong, because I'm looking at the reality of, like what's going on. I'm doing everything that I need to do as a person, as a man. But when you're not doing what you're supposed to do, people will change, and you don't want other person to be saying to your spouse what you're not saying. You know what I mean? And cause them to start to drift, cause them to start to think outside of the box. So, did I make the right decision? Did I marry to the right person? Your change, so forth and so on. Be consistent. Be consistent. Be consistent.
Amen. And I saw that Sister Shelley Baxter Brown, she commented, compatibility does not change, but needs change. And that is where both partners should communicate. As you know, communication is key in any marriage. And
That's
that
right.
is so true. She also said that we are not compatible anymore. That talk, or you always hear that when you go to a marriage counseling or separation. You always hear that we are not compatible.
And with all coming bishop, but with all of that, let me say this is that you grew apart because the lack of communication. And that's where the problem comes. It's not the compatibility. If you were once compatible, is you're growing apart, and you're no longer, somebody's been hurt in the relationship, and the person who's been hurt may not be vocal, and sometimes persons are vocal. So you have to look at the two extreme. Like, if I'm a vocal person, I'm being vocal about, hey, you're hurting me. This is what's happening. Once I start to tell you that I'm hurting, and you ignore that the fact that I'm hurting, and I start to shut down, I don't want to go to a second heaven. I don't care how second heaven let me feel. I'm good. I
Give up
don't need.
and
I
even.
I will give up that heaven because of how I am feeling as a person. If I'm telling you that what you're doing, no, I'm not looking. Listen, the Bible. Let's get that Bible. Let's get out the Bible. The Bible said that when a man married to a woman and he find an uncleanness in her, when he's find no longer find favor in her, when he look and she's no the uncleanness there, or the it's not necessary that she's is the character of her has changed, so forth and so on. So when you find, and man have some bad character too. It's not only ladies. You have men that have bad character too. So your wife will shut down and lock the gate of heaven.
Rightly said. That's fitting. That is fitting. Based on the
And
first.
you wonder, oh, this gate of heaven is closed. You wonder to yourself, oh my God, the gates of heaven is. But the key to the gate of heaven is communication, show affection, show love, embrace, so forth and so on. You know your spouse. You have to know what to do and what to say. When you're in a house, it's like a war zone. Trust me, the key broke. The key broke. You understand me? The door now go open and they break off right in at the door. So, but going back to what I'm saying is that it takes communication between two people, Bishop, for relationship to grow, to develop, to stimulate, and to find what pleases. Because the thing that pleases your wife yesterday, maybe today change. And not, and listen, and sometimes being apart, sometimes to really appreciate the person that you have. And your wife is not just your wash mate with us come and wash your clothes and so forth and so on, and iron your pants and iron your clothes and all of this and all of that. She's not your maid, she's your wife. But wherever she's weak, I become strong. I'm not, my wife. It was embarrassing one time, Bishop, that I went out somewhere, and we were working, and didn't even know how to use the machine because she not doesn't necessarily that she doesn't want me to use it. It's just she's always doing it, and I become custom. So when I came home, I said to myself, I have to do a load of laundry. I have to do all of this because my father-in-law, when he passed off, and I said to myself, I look at it and says, what if it was his wife passed off before? He wouldn't know what to do because he leaned on his wife so much, and his wife, he was that type of person that, he's always helping, but being domesticated and doing other things, he's always doing all of that. But I said to myself, some of us would be lost if our wife died. We wouldn't know where to pick up the first. We don't even know what to do because we give her all the burden. Give her all everything to do. And I'm guilty in some of those areas. I am honestly guilty in some of those areas. Because she's good at it, I just leave it and I get comfortable. But once in a while, stop in and says, sweetheart, how is this going? How is the finances? If I used to give her $1,000 a month, find out from her, is $1,000 because things are going up. Let's sit down and do a financial analysis. Can the $1,000 still run the house? Interest rate went up the other day. We have to refinance the thing. And especially if you are the one that's always doing bringing the bacon, maybe you need to get a bigger pig. Figure ways of how to bring in more bacon because now the stress is on her. And then she started to look like a whole lady. And when she started looking like it because of the stress and because you're miserable and oh Lord, help me, Jesus. As men, we're talking about men, how can wives and how can we become better and so forth. Talk to your wife. Next week we should have some ladies. Dr. Link, as you're listening to us, if you are.
There is nothing wrong. Sorry, Pastor Clive. There's nothing wrong with a granny, So I'm listening intently.
Yeah.
But I understand.
What I mean by that, though, Rev, is what I mean by that is that we leave the pressure on our wives, and when we leave the pressure on our wives, they take on the stress, and they're more stressed out, so forth and so on, and and they ladies know how to handle stress. Ladies know how to handle stress, or should I say, some know how to handle stress. But what we don't want, we want to share burdens. We want to share so that we can live a balance and a good life. Meaning that, like we're talking about going to heaven so that when it's time for us to go to heaven, we can go to heaven. That's
right. We're not counting 1, 2, 3 before going to heaven either. Or after. Amen. So I just want to go through a few of these before we continue because the time is winding down. It's 9:23 on my side, and I believe that there's not enough time for a topic like this. There's so much more to be said, right? I want to say this. This is a troubling one, but we don't want to go too much away from the topic this morning. And the servant of David, he said, the pastors nowadays will end up lead you to marry the wrong person. I don't believe that is a nowadays pastor. I think it's more so in the past. And if you're listening to what Bishop is saying, he's saying, yeah, the pastor will tell you the truth. And a true pastor tells the truth. And the truth is what you need when you're choosing a spouse. And then the question is asked, then why is the divorce rate more in church? Of course, there are more attacks on the church than even in the world. So we can have this for an even longer debate. But this one, a lot of time people getting
I don't
married.
cut you, sir. I don't cut you, sir. I just want you to move on from that, because that's what people are saying. But the divorce rate, actually, if you look at the real studies, it's nice to say, but it's not higher in the church than in the world. In fact, the last study that I look at is around 70-30, 80-20, right? That's the divorce rate in the church. That's the real divorce rate. So it's not higher. And one more thing, I talk about compatibility. One of the things that also cause person not to be compatible anymore is sometimes that one person grow and the other does not grow. And so it's important that you try to grow together. God bless you, sir. Go ahead.
Let's tackle this question, Bishop. Let's tackle this one. How do you handle a spouse that is a mama's boy? How do you get him to understand, cleave to your wife? And how do you also, I want you to flip that as well in the feminine context as well. How does a man handle a woman that is a mother's girl? Likewise, you can do that in quick order. Pastor Clive, what time are we working with?
He's going to give us some more time.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Bishop.
Yeah. You know he was a mama's boy before you married him, right? And so therefore this should not be a shock to you, because I'm sure you didn't marry him 2 weeks after you met him. And so the way he normally deals with it when he was planning the marriage and so on, you see all of those flags that he was a mama's boy before you marry him. So sometimes it's difficult to fix something when you know it was broken. You buy it broken, and then you're trying to get it fixed, and the man is like, well, you know that I was like this before. And the only way to do this on both sides, sir, is to have a third party in, is to sit down and talk with somebody. You can talk to her about it, she will not listen to you. He can, you can, and on both sides, right? You have
Bishop,
to have a third person in, and you guys talk about it.
Bishop,
Yes.
the only way out of a mama's boy, you move from where your mama there and go as far as possible. You don't stay nowhere near for you to have a solid relationship with your wife. If you live in a Kingston, you move to Montego Bay. If you live in Montego Bay, you move to Kingston. Bible says leave. And leaving doesn't mean that you leave to next door and your mother the next door. Because I know that those things really put strain on family. Your mother is your mother, your father. Something happened, you run over to mama. Leave, meaning that if you love your wife, if you love your husband, and not only is just a mama's boy, but you have some ladies that are mama and papa's boy as girl as well. So you pick up and say, listen, we are moving. You get a job transfer. You're gone miles away. You come and visit, if you understand what I'm saying, because it's going to cause problem. And if you see the red flag and you say, listen to me, you said to the wife, you know, say, as our girlfriend, when you are caught with her and you realize there's going to be a problem, you said you don't do it, or you said to yourself, so listen, you know, you start to look, if you really love the person, you start looking to say, listen to me, let me look into a job somewhere far, if you can move, even if for a year or two or something, because it's not going to just happen overnight. Your mother-in-law is going to be your mother-in-law. Your father-in-law is going to be your father-in-law, vice versa. And they may leave you for a season and says, you know what? Let me leave them, let them catch themselves. But some people don't know boundaries. And because they don't know boundaries, they're going to ruin your relationship. And somebody's going to get silent. And when you get silent, you're checked out of the relationship. It's as a matter of, you know, and then it start to create this animosity between you and your spouse. So let me say it, and then If you go say to your mother-in-law, don't come over here, it's going to be a war. Say to your father, don't come here. No, man, pack up. Tell them, say, you know what, I get a job somewhere else. Find a job miles and miles away. Migrate if you have to migrate so that you can cleave to that person that you truly love. Because I don't think it is right for you to love somebody and the person love you, but there's an issue like that and it should cause you not to, or cause you divorce, so forth and so on, and give you the opportunity to choose who, choose between your husband or the mother-in-law. No. We should use wisdom in all of that.
Thank you very much, Pastor Clive. Yes, indeed, we should use wisdom in all that we do. Relationships are about two persons coming together. And when they come together, as the Bible would have put it, you cleave and you leave what you had before. So you leave your nest and go find rest with your husband or your wife. There's another question that I want to jump to before we wrap up, Bishop, because I have a few other questions that I want to ask before we wrap up. But I want you to look at this one, Bishop. It says our spiritual health plays a pivotal role in our physical health. What's your thoughts on this? I agree with you for journey with Renee. I agree with you there, Renee. Bishop, what says thou?
Oh, she licked the nail right on the head.
And it, right?
Yeah, there's that. There's yeah, she's perfectly right. And especially you're talking about the physical health of a relationship. Since we're in relationship, yeah, your spiritual health is vital and is important. When you're spiritually when you're spiritually healthy, the way how you see the other person, the way how you see things that are going on, you understand it better, because a lot of time it's an attack, and you only can see that when you are actually spiritual.
That's right.
Right? You and so that you can attack the spirit. So you can attack the spirit, right? We don't have time to go dive down into it, but she's perfectly right.
Thank you very much, Bishop. Question for you, Pastor Clive. How does societal pressure and cultural background influence men's expectations of their wives?
Say it one more time.
How does societal pressure and cultural background influence men's expectations of their wives?
I'm a Jamaican, right? Migrate to Canada. I'm married to a lady. She's a Canadian. I remember the first time, just being friends. She said, "I will never marry to a Jamaican. That will never happen." The culture.
Look at us now. That's what you're saying to her. Look at us now.
And oftentimes I would say, "You remember?" I mean, not oftentimes, but it came up and says, "Sweetheart, you remember some time ago you said you will never?" She said, "No, I've seen the person in you." So the culture, when you're getting married to somebody, you have to get to know their culture. You have to understand their culture. Jumping into a relationship with somebody because you love the person for whatever reason, you love them. And when I'm counseling people, I ask them the question, what do you love about them? What do you see in them? Don't just look at the outer, but work from the inside out. Don't work from the outside in, because she could look good, Bishop, on the outside. He could look good from the outside. But when they come together, the culture becomes a cultural clash. As I would say earlier, that my cooking would be a little bit different than what my wife cooks, and I love when she cooks, because it's totally different. I don't even want to try to do what she does. So the culture, it's different, but you have to balance yourself knowing that this is what this is what the person does, whether whether it's your wife or your husband, from a different culture, and then you have to embrace. If you're going to marry to somebody and they cook cow intestine, and you don't eat chicken foot, and they don't eat chicken foot, it's going to create problem for you. If they're okay with it and you eat your heat and they eat what they eat, so forth and so on, there will be challenges if it's going to be a problem. It will be a problem in the relationship if they're always going to criticize what you're eating. And that's a part of cultural as well, because we eat different. Bishop, we buy our cow foot, we buy our oxtail, we buy our pigtail, we buy, we do what we do. And then the two dynamics. What about persons? You're not from the Caribbean, but you're from the continent of Africa. Coming from the continent of Africa, like there's stuff that they eat that we won't eat. And even here in North America, or not most in the US now, and it's trending in Jamaica. Growing up, will have never thought of eating alligator or crocodile. Never. Never, never, never. You have never even thought about it. And it never used to be like that in the US either. But then over, probably somebody went in that jungle, somebody get hungry, and somebody said, listen, is it that him die or I die? Something is going to die, but it's not me. So then they start eating alligator, crocodile, and then it become a trend. I have never tasted. However, I'm not going to die if I'm somewhere and I need to eat something I have to eat. But the culture becomes different, and you go married to somebody that's what they want, that's what they eat, that's what the culture is, and then it becomes a problem, and then it becomes a fighting. Don't learn their culture before jumping into a relationship with a person from a different ethnic group, from a different country, a different culture.
That's right. Thank you very much, Pastor Clive. Well said. Well said. Bishop, I am coming to you. Can you share any surprising insights or common misconceptions about what men are looking for in a wife?
I'm not coming to my mind readily as you ask a question. I think it's something that I might have to think about a little bit. Because men are normally in a way straightforward into what they want, what they desire. Men doesn't talk in circles. Men doesn't normally want you to read their mind. Men normally say what actually is in their mind at the moment, right? So it's I don't know if Pastor Clive can come up with anything, but normally men are I'm a straight shooter. This is what I like, this is what I don't like, and so on.
But Tammy Lee is saying that wives sometimes don't praise their husbands for the good they do. And I think sometimes wives may take it for granted that it must be done. You're a man, so you must do it. So they don't praise their husbands enough. However, they are usually quick to criticize. It's never good to criticize, leaving the husband to feel like he is never able to please his wife. And if the husband is never able to please his wife, he will cling to those whom he will please, whether by giving them a glass of water or
yes, sir. That is so true. And I think I mentioned it earlier. That it's important that you praise your husband, be his cheerleader. I think that's what I said earlier. It's very, very important, because if you don't do it, somebody else out there will do it. What you're not willing to put up with, somebody out there is willing to put up with it, right? So and don't make a milestone, don't make a mountain over a valley situation. you know, and we always use the situation with the you know, with the with the toothpaste, where some, you know, squeeze it from the top, some squeeze it from the bottom. Don't make a milestone, right? Don't, you know, thing that you can ignore it, right? Ignore it, right? You know, he left his socks there all the time. Don't let it becomes a, you know, for example, you know, if you, you know, if you're talking about a socks, talk about the socks. Don't bring up other stuff, right? Anyway, that's something else that we're past. We need to have some more time like this.
It's Bishop. Each and every one of us have weaknesses. Each and every one of us have weaknesses, whether male or female. Especially, you know, if when you find weaknesses in your spouse, it's not for you to tear them down based on the weaknesses that they have, or tell them that, you know, or tell them about their weakness every day. How can I help this person in their weakness? How can I become strong for them? How can I help them through it? You know, and it becomes and it help them to become a better person. Don't let them become insecure. Your relationship will tear down, it will break down when you let a woman or a man feel in, especially let me talk from the man point of view. If you let me feel that I am because I'm weak in a certain area, you're gonna use it against me. I'm gonna shut down, and the relationship is gonna break down, and I'm not gonna wanna. Yeah, we'll have conversation, but I'm already checked out. You know, I'm just there maybe because, you know, I can't do better, or maybe because we have children and I don't want to, you know, some men stick around because, and ladies as well, they stick around, but some men will stick around because of children, stick around because I'm just there because. And then you would see a man get up at 25 or 30 years and says, man, I'm gone. And or a woman, vice versa. Why? You don't just get up on God. You checked out long time. And then because you checked out long time, you know, you know, it's easy for you to get up and just say, look here, you're gone. But what I want to say is this, is that when you're married to somebody because you love them. And because you love that person, you need to be able to spend the quality time to analyze them, trying to figure them out. You know their likes and their dislikes. Can you please them 100% and say this is what you're going to do with them 100%? You may not be able to, but at the same time, you're going to try to make sure that that person that you're married to, that you're on a journey, they're on a journey, they need to feel satisfied in themselves. And when you make a man feel insecure, trust me, you're shutting down a man. You make it, Bishop, you're pulling the man out of the man. You know, he's not. He doesn't feel like he's a man. And when you make the man, when you kill the man within the man, all right, and the man, and you treat the man like a boy, what do you expect? The man is not going to be a man. He's going to act like what you want him to act, and he's going to start to behave the way how you make him feel. So you have to let the man know, say, look here, man, you're a man. And sometimes this come with age. Sometimes this come with maturity. You get two young people and put them together, and you know, they don't know how to treat each other, so forth and so on. Or you get a woman or a man, vice versa, who had previous relationship and he had a girl that somebody take away from him, and he said, man, that's the girl I wanted to marry to. And then because you're now in the picture, he compare you with the other person. And when he compare with the other person, you know, you don't make you feel good, or vice versa. The man comparing his wife with another person because Jane was the one for him, and he's having Jane in the back of his mind, and I know you're not getting the treatment because that's not how Jane. Well, you didn't marry to Jane. You're married to Janie, or you're married to Sue now. So as a man, you have to know the couple. Let me deal with the couple. As a couple, you have to journey together. You have to share. You have to communicate. You have to not be selfish in the relationship. When you become selfish in the relationship, trust me, the relationship will tear down, because all it is about me, how I feel, what I want, what I don't want. This is not what and I'm stepping out because of this and this and that. When you are selfless, the both of you need to be selfless. Not one person coming 80 and the other one is always trying to please and tiptoe around you and tiptoe around us as men or vice versa. And the mean streak where you have a mean side to you causes people to shut down. That will make me as a man shut down. I don't want to be around someone that is mean. When I get married to you, put on the best, as someone would have said, Ray would have said in the chat on the cover. You really like the guy, and because you like the guy, you show the best. You show your best foot forward, and you go the extra mile. But deep down on the inside of you, you want to destroy the man's ministry. Been there, done that. Lord God help me.
My God. Before we close, Pastor Clive, I cannot leave without addressing this particular question. And I want to throw it to Bishop because he's a real bishop. Bishop, what does a cheating wife does to her husband?
Can you repeat the question, please?
What does a cheating wife do to her husband? How does it affect that husband?
There's no such thing in the body of Christ. There's no such thing, Rev, in the body of Christ. Don't say that.
No cheating wife in the body of Christ. And let me just say though, cheating doesn't necessarily mean you only go out. I know that might not be the question, but and actually have intercourse with somebody else. But when you find yourself emotionally attached to another person more than your husband, that's cheating, right? When you have the old fire stick, the old boyfriend or the old fling calling you, and you're spending how many hours and time on them on the phone with Facebook or WhatsApp Messenger and all these kind of stuff, that is cheating, right? When you go right into it, right, and actually have intercourse with the person, you actually basically break that marriage vow. You actually kill that person on the inside, and it really only take God and God alone to save that marriage, right? Because what have happened there is that somebody else, right, have captured your heart, right? Somebody else have captured your spirit. Somebody else is you're more interested in more than your husband. So when you do something like that, right, it's one of the worst thing that you could ever do to a man. You can kill his ministry. You can you can destroy his interest in and his trust in a female, and so on. So it's going to take a whole lot of prayer and fasting to sometimes to bring that man to, because it's really hard for a man to live with that. And sometimes a man can even blame in himself, maybe I wasn't good enough, I wasn't treating her enough, she wasn't being satisfied, and things like that. And so therefore it is important that you talk, and it's important, ladies, right, that if you and both men, if you find yourself being attracted to somebody else on the outside, that you pull yourself up and ask yourself, what is missing in my relationship that is causing me to looking on the outside, right? I mean, that's something not happening on the inside of your relationship, right? If your marriage, that makes you wanted to go outside, right, and to get satisfaction out there. And maybe nothing wrong with a relationship. Maybe something is wrong with you, with your lustfulness. The enemy, the devil, have taken over your flesh, right? And this can be influenced by some of the movies you watch, by some of the books you are reading, right? By some of the music that you are listening, by being in the wrong crowd, with your girlfriends, or other men, tell them how nice it out is on the outside and so on, and you want to get curious, I want to try all of those stuff. So be very, very careful. Once you find yourself out there, and do not talk to another woman or man about your husband or your wife treatment or the way they are treating or your dissatisfaction.
Can you say that again?
Right, because they are going to tell you, if you were my wife, if you were my husband, and they're going to tell you all kind of stuff to pull you in, to get you inside of their bed.
My
right?
God.
So be very careful. Don't talk to anybody at work who's of the opposite sex, especially, and some people even of the same sex, because they have been through hurt. And when you talk to them based on what they do, they're going to encourage you to do that. So don't talk to anybody outside, right? About your husband, right, or your wife. False, right? Very, very bad idea.
Thank you very much, Bishop Hopton Morris. This is how we pull things down here on the Ironman Empowerment Show. You've heard it. Open, honest discussion. We're not just talk, we are informative. Thank you for tuning into today's show, where we explore the intriguing question of what most men look for in a wife. We delve into the complexities of men's desires, expectations, and needs in a partner, and discovered that it's not just about physical attraction or surface level qualities. As we've learned, men seek a deep emotional connection, shared values, and a sense of companionship. They want a partner who will support their dreams, be their rock in times of need, and build a life together. Remember, every individual is unique, and what one man wants may differ from another. But by understanding the common themes and trends, we can foster more meaningful connections and build stronger relationships. To our male listeners, we hope this conversation has helped you clarify your own desires and expectations in a partner. And to our female listeners, we hope this insight has given you a better understanding of what men are looking for in a wife. Thanks to all our listeners for sharing their perspectives in the chat. Join us next time on the Ironman Empowerment Show as we explore more thought-provoking topics and conversations. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube page at hggradio.ca or download our app, the Higher Ground Gospel Radio, on the PlayStation or your App Store. Until then, stay connected, keep on growing, and keep it locked on HGG Radio. Once again, we're not just
HGG Radio.
Informative.
Join us for the Ironman Empowerment Podcast, where we discuss matters close to the heart. This and every Saturday at 8 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on HGG Radio. I am your host, Dr. Lincoln Bryan, alongside your co-host, Pastor Clive Atkinson, Bishop Hopton Morris, and Elder Edmund Muir. The Ironman Empowerment Podcast. We're not just talk, we're informative.
What a mighty God. What a mighty